Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
What happened at the High Court?
Yes, a significant development, major victory. So the Human Rights Court ruled yesterday.
What was the case?
Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng, Kwabena Edu Jemfi, dragged me to the Human Rights Court. First of all, he secured an ex parte 10-day injunction. That was the injunction matter, seeking to restrain me from carrying out further oversight on the double identity conflict of interest matter relating to the National Cathedral scandal. He sought to enforce his right under Article 33 of the Constitution that I was violating his right to privacy. And he said he wanted me to back off. So he wanted me to be restrained by the courts so that I do not put out any further publication on the matter. So we have been in court since the 1st of February. My lawyers have been contesting his claims, stating that what I'm doing is in good faith. Documents have been presented to us by the National Cathedral Secretariat in Parliament, which revealed that payment had been made to a company known as JNS Talent Center Limited, 2.6 million Ghana cedis. And that as a diligent member of Parliament, I noticed that JNS was not one of the contractors listed. So how come they are being paid for contractors mobilization? Because the contractors listed, known to Parliament, are the architect David Ajayi and the JV Ribade. Ribade, as we all know, is a joint venture of Rizani Di Echa, Babisoti, and Disimoni. So any entity out of this should naturally arouse the curiosity of any diligent member of Parliament. And so my lawyers argued that I was only doing my work. In probing further to find out why JNS will receive contractors mobilization when they are not contractors, I discovered that apparently that company is owned by this same person, appointed to the board of the National Cathedral as Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng, but unknown to all of us, to the general public, and to Parliament. He is the same person known as Kwabena Edu Jemfi, receiving these payments as director of the company. And so my lawyers argued that, look, there was nothing malicious. I was acting in all good faith, only doing my work as a member of Parliament. And also argued that really, which personality is seeking to enforce his right?
That's what you asked the
Is it Kusi Boateng? Yeah, or Edu Jemfi. And I must commend the respected judge, Her Ladyship Barbara Tetechawi, who did not pull punches. She really descended, didn't take nonsense at all. Said that this matter borders on criminality, and that the claim that one of the names is an alias is misconceived. Totally wrong.
That's in the ruling.
It's all in the ruling, and she said that the matters border on criminality. That these are two distinct personalities. Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng has his own mother, as we proved in court, his own unique date of birth, 7 September 1971, and a separate TIN, tax identification number. Kwabena Edu Jemfi has another mother, totally distinct from the mother for Victor Kusi Boateng, according to statutory declarations. And also that the date of birth for Kwabena Edu Jemfi is 30th December 1969, 2 years apart, separate date.
So let me read this, which is supposed to be a summary of the judgment.
Yes.
For the benefit of Nana 2 and our viewers.
Yeah.
So a summary of the judgment. It's been proven that Kwabena Edu Jemfi and Victor Kusi Boateng are two separate identities concurrently used by the applicant, and first respondent is justified in his claims that Victor Kusi Boateng is not an alias, but another separate identity altogether. The way the two identities were used does not suggest a simple case of two different names, but rather two independent and totally separate identities to conceal applicants' dealings in a manner that was not obvious until the investigations and publications of first respondents. applicant's assertion that the use of two names in the manner he has done is not a crime under our laws is misconceived, as the two identities were used in a pattern of duplicity, depicting a lack of transparency, and this conduct borders on criminality. The application was sought to be enforced under Article 33(1) of the 92 Constitution, which requires an applicant's personal interest in a matter to confer local standard. From the record, it is not clear which of the two separate identities seeks to enforce its fundamental human rights by this suit. And once there's a clear case of double identity presented and proven before this court, this application is dismissed for lack of capacity and local standard. Cost of 10,000 cedis awarded against the applicant in favor of the first respondent.
Yes.
Very damning.
Yeah, very, very damning judgment.
But there's a substantive case which go to the matter of the, or there's no substantive?
No, so this is also substantive. There are 3 cases he filed. The first one was an injunction, this injunction, which we've gone into the substantive matter at the Human Rights Court. So that's
the substantive matter is that he denies the double identity.
He says that I'm violating his privacy fundamentally, and
there's no denial of your claims.
So no, not really. He couldn't deny. Then remember there was a second matter where he brought an action, contempt, seeking to have me committed to jail. That was also dismissed. Another cost of 10,000 Ghana cedis was awarded. The courts said that he had used people who were not bailiffs. The whole thing was a setup, and so that case was dismissed. That's the second one. The third one and last one pending is the defamation suit. Probably that's what you are referring to at another high court, where he's saying that I have defamed him by these publications. That is also progressing.
Which means your assertions were not true.
Well, that's the,
and that that matter, this judgment on the restraining and something goes to the substantive case.
Yes, it does. It does. So So really, this judgment can clearly tell you what is about to happen in the defamation suit, because the judge was clear
let's stick to this.
Yes. So let me stick to this.
We're sticking to the one you framed.
The significance about this judgment is that I no longer have any restraining order. There's no injunction. I'm under no bar, no fetters. So I can go ahead and do my work.
The judge says it's not clear who was seeking to enforce the human rights.
Yes.
He doesn't know whether it is A or B.
Yes, because A
and B are not the same.
They are not the same. They are two distinct, and they were operated concurrently, establishing companies, having two different things, two different mothers. They beat the system. DVLA, Electoral Commission, NIA, Passport Office, and all of that. Because the judge even talked about how 2016 you vote as Victor Kusi Boateng, 2020 you vote as Kwabena Edu-Gyamfi, and all of that. You are appointed to the board as Victor Kusi Boateng. However, your diplomatic passport is in the name Kwabena Edu-Gyamfi. So, very murky, very bizarre, and that's why the judge said, look, it borders on criminality.
You know, I find something interesting. I find something interesting.
Yeah.
It's not something just came to mind.
Yeah.
Elsewhere,
people who serve on even philanthropic organizations,
Yes.
when some of these issues come up,
Yeah.
they either resign or
Yes.
they are removed.
Yes. Yes.
The Republic of Ghana, the state, the government, as we speak today,
Yeah.
I have raised this issue over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You,
Yeah.
the government, the office of the president, that is where the cathedral is under,
That's
office
true.
of the president.
Yeah.
You have registered a person
Yeah.
as a trustee
Yes.
of the National Cathedral with a particular name,
Yeah.
with a particular ID. You, the same office of the president,
Yeah.
you have issued the person a diplomatic passport to advance his work on that thing with a different identity and a different name.
Yeah.
And when this expose is made, you are not even embarrassed enough.
Yeah. To dismiss the person. You know, he's still serving on the board of trustees.
Is an expose.
What?
the matters.
No, the Human Rights Court
is an expose.
No, I'm saying that
we've even gone beyond
the fact that if you go into the records of the incorporation of the National Cathedral, a trustee is there named ABCD.
Yeah, Victor Kusi Boateng.
If you go to their website and their letterhead, the one they still issue statements with, you will see the name there, Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng. The state issues, the government issues him a diplomatic passport to facilitate his work as far as the cathedral is concerned. Yet, that passport has a name other than Victor Kusi Boateng.
Okay, well, you see, you have said all of this.
Yes.
And you concluded that it's an expose.
Yeah.
No.
That's what you said.
Nana,
so I'm saying that...
You still don't get the point I'm making. I am saying that when you go and register directors with the Registrar General, you use a national ID.
Yeah.
The national ID states your name known by the state.
So you are saying that it's not an expose, it's a fact.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
You said it's an expose. That's what I'm saying. It's an expose.
No,
the
expose was by this man.
Yes, it was an expose.
But that fact has been established.
It's been established.
By
the evidence.
The evidence.
And the man himself does not...
in court. The Human Rights Court has upheld
Yes.
The evidence in court.
Yes.
But the court matter is not finished.
But Nana, the point I'm making...
This one is finished.
Nana, you still don't get me. The point I'm making is that you, the state government, office of the president,
should take an interest in it.
When let's assume that you were blind or drunk, and you didn't know that I have registered this man as so and so as a trustee of the cathedral, and me, the same institution, I have gone to issue him a diplomatic passport with a different identity. Let's assume that you were drunk or asleep. And now it comes to your attention that indeed this is what has happened. That for two statutory issues, there are two separate identities, all done by the state. What's the first thing you do?
So is it an expose? Because that's what you said. I'm just going.
It started as an expose.
So now it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, it started as an expose.
Because you said it's an expose.
It started as an expose. What we are saying is an explanation to why the two identities exist. But my point is, what I'm just saying is that we all know, in many jurisdictions, immediately something like this happens, especially when it is factual.
But has the man admitted to the identities?
Yes, but he explains. He explains why.
He explains. He was trying to hide under an alias, but an alias cannot work when you present different dates of birth, different mothers, and you have obtained two different things. So the courts are not buying it.
Anywhere in the world, any government agency, any government that does this will be so embarrassed.
And they will immediately dismiss you. And in addition to that, after a judge has pronounced that this borders on criminality, if there is an attorney general and minister of justice, not selective justice, that person will be prosecuted because this is criminal. I won't be allowed to get away with this. You will not, if you are not in government.
Did
you are not
selective justice?
Yes, if we have a minister of justice, not selective justice, an attorney general, this matter should be prosecuted.
As we speak today,
even if not on a daily basis, like Question is going through.
Is it not being tried, the criminal one? Is it not being tried for perjury?
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah.
Is it not being tried for perjury?
For false statutory declaration.
False statutory declaration. Is that not the case?
That's what the Supreme Court said.
No, so is that not why he's being tried?
Because it has been established by the Supreme Court.
No, you don't get the point I'm making.
The criminal case is arising from the case at the Supreme Court. So it's based on the pronouncement of the Supreme Court that the criminal case is proceeding.
There's a pronouncement by the Human Rights Court.
In this case,
there's also a pronouncement by the Human Rights Court.
The point I am making is that the state itself
should take an interest.
No, not take an interest. The state itself.
They themselves have questions to answer.
You went to register the National Cathedral.
Yeah.
And you registered the trustees.
Randy, I'm saying that you used the word expose. The
expose was in reference to
So I
the
said
public
that
awareness
by an expose.
Yes.
then we have to wait for the facts to be established.
No.
But now you say that the
but we've gone beyond that.
Okay. The point I'm making, Nana, what I'm telling you is that the state itself registers a person as a trustee of the National Cathedral with a particular identity. The same state, in issuing a diplomatic passport to facilitate that person's work, uses a different identity and a different identity document to issue that passport for him.
So it's not more an expose, it's an established
fact.
Yeah, but you use the word expose. That's what got me confused.
It's in reference to it being made public by the MP.
So I'm saying that's what got me confused.
Yeah.
But what you mean to say that's an established fact?
Yes.
Okay. Because
that the state itself was the one that did the documentation.
It is an established fact.
Yes.
Yeah. But because you said expose, that's why I said.
Because nobody, you sitting here, you have many alliances.
And then the question case.
Yes.
It was established that this is the case. That's why the criminal.
This has also been established.
No, I'm not
if it's been established,
I'm not speaking about criminal prosecution. That's not the point.
That's what is going on.
I'm saying I'm talking about this one. I'm not even speaking about whether there should be criminal prosecution or not. That's not my interest.
You brought in the question.
Yes, my interest is, I'm just saying that look at what is happening. When he spoke about justice and injustice and selective and all that. But I'm saying that in this case, it is the state itself. In fact, we must be going after the officers of the state. Because you, the state, you cannot register Nana Akomia as a member of parliament. As a member of parliament, his name is Nana Akomia. And when you are going to issue a diplomatic passport for him, for his parliamentary work, you go and take an identity which says he's Samuel Kwansi and issue him a diplomatic passport.
Different date of birth.
I agree with all of that. It's just that when you said expose, that's why I was cautious. But now you are saying that it's an established fact.
So Doc, I mean, you are spot on, and I am surprised that even the revered trustees we have on the board are entertaining this chap. Still entertain him. Look, elsewhere, they will state clearly, look, you either leave so that we protect the integrity of this board of trustees, or we are all going to leave. Why are they silent?
Until the case is finished.
And why have they been quiet all these months? And why is it that such a matter, we don't even have official statements? The passport office, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I filed an urgent question months ago for the foreign minister to come explain how come somebody is appointed as Victor Kusi Boateng and is issued a diplomatic passport. There's been a lot of feet dragging. It was advertised last week. She sent a letter to Parliament that she's on leave, so we should give her some more time. But that question will be answered, and we will demand full accountability. You see, Ghana should not be seen as some banana republic where you can do anything once you claim to belong to a certain profession or you claim to have some proximity with the powers that be. I mean, we can build a safe republic that way. I mean, why do we talk about national identity? Why are we spending billions of dollars on registering Ghanaians and all of that, if we can allow these things to go on? And I repeat the statement I made earlier, that if in this country we truly have a minister responsible for justice and not selective justice and Attorney General, this matter must attract his urgent attention, and we must see some prosecution. You can't be, treating Kwesi the way you are, when Kwesi really,
I think you should file an urgent question
for more than a year had applied.
Maybe the difficulty will be that it is the state itself, the actors, the state actors,
who facilitated it.
To answer,
because they facilitated it.
Yes, so they have questions to answer.
They facilitated
because
it.
The question I asked was
and at multiple places, from BVLA to the Office of Register of Companies to the GRA. I did write information requests. They've all confirmed that yes, it's true, but they are now investigating.
No, my issue really is that how can you, you see, and elsewhere, elsewhere, a lot of people
will have lost their
jobs. Left or be sacked.
Oh yes.
Because how can you?
Even the matter is
yes, and that's just the point I raised. How can you say that this is the, and I'm saying that till today, when they issue statements on their letterhead, what do we read?
Yeah.
And you register the person a trustee, because if I'm going to register a company or anything, they take my national ID.
Yeah.
So my name at the register of companies is what is on my national ID. So like the example I gave, how can you be in parliament as Samuel Okudzato Ablakwa?
Yeah.
And then when parliament is going to give you a diplomatic passport, you are Kojo Nyaku.
How is that? With a different date.
How can parliament do that?
Yeah. You know, and you wonder, is the system sick? Are we a banana republic?
How many of such things exist?
Yeah. Good question.
How many of such things do exist?
Good question.
But you see, this judgment, this case is, so the case is
Human Rights Court.
This is a Human Rights
Court.
Asking that you no more comment.
Yes.
Now the court is saying that you are doing your work.
Yes, I can go ahead.
But when you read, it's quite categorical.
Yeah.
In establishing that there's a case of double identity.
You know, the judge even roped in his lawyers that they should have even advised him.
Okay.
You know, and that he should not be the one running to court on this matter, seeking to have me jailed.
So this judgment seems to put the matter beyond conjecture. That is now being a finding of a court that this is the case. So maybe let's see what happens after today. Even the Dumelevo case was a similar case where there were different information on the same person.
No, the Dumelevo case had to do with date of birth.
Yes, it's the same.
Not different. Not his identity. That was used with respect to when he was supposed to retire or not to retire.
I'm not saying he has double. I'm saying that he has 2 dates of birth.
Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
And so, but then people still thought that, hey, he's been victimized. When the one document showed that he was of this age and another document showed he was of this age. So these things, we must take them seriously. I'm also happy that Sami is happy with this judgment. Because the NDC...
I'm not free to work.
The NDC is always found when judgments do not go in their favor of saying that this is executive manipulation. It's not worth your while. Those sentiments that you tell us all the time is disrespectful to the courts. Now, this is a judgment of the court. You're happy with it. You are not saying it's executive manipulation. And that's how it should be. The courts are independent. They've been independent in your time, and they are still independent.
So you're saying judgments cannot be criticized?
Are you suggesting that a judgment cannot be criticized? Because as we speak,
no.
It is possible that...
One second. You can criticize a judgment.
Yes.
You can disagree with a judgment. But you don't say that the court is being manipulated because you find a judgment wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
But you know it. You know this.
Now I'm saying that in relating it to him, the impression that you're creating is that you can't complain when you lose.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You can complain. Randy, I can complain about your conduct.
Yeah.
I may disagree with you on an issue.
Right.
But I will not say that you are being manipulated by it.
Right.
Doc, you always ask.
And that's what the NDC is fond of.
Doc, you always do the questioning. But today I also have a question to you, because there's something that has been really agitating my mind.
Yes.
And Nana can probably help us too. Why do you think that Reverend Kusi Boateng was so emboldened to be the one to go to court, seeking to even have me jailed? I've never understood.
Maybe it is the advice of his lawyers. Maybe that's what
I've never really understood this.
But Nana, you are aware that when he filed for the contempt, the only remedy he sought from the court was for Okudzato to be sent to prison.
Yeah.
That was the only thing.
The contempt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Contempt is criminal.
He said he didn't even want the fine.
Contempt is
but you could be
criminal.
fined.
I'm saying that
you could be fined.
What he wanted, the relief he sought from the court, was nothing but a jail term.
Randy, that is what you do. You ask for the maximum.
No, it's not true.
You ask for the maximum.
It's not true.
The court will decide whether
it is not true.
Why is it not true?
No.
I'm the one asking the court. I've taken the case to the court. I'm saying that this thing that Randy has done,
yes,
it is so bad, he has to be imprisoned. That is my That's what the case you take to the court. It's up to the court.
But that's
now.
exactly exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that
He asked for jail.
all he asked for, the only thing he asked for was jail.
Yes. That's within his rights.
I'm
but
not
it's up
saying,
to the court to
Nana,
decide.
you don't get the point I'm making. I'm not saying it is not within his rights.
Uh-huh.
You're not listening to me.
But, so what are you saying?
I am saying that when he went to court for contempt, all he wanted from the court was that for what he believed was a contemptuous conduct, he should be sent to jail. That's what he wanted.
Yeah, but what is he going to ask for? It's within his rights to ask for something.
I'm
it's
not
up
saying
to the
it's
court
not within his
whether
rights.
give it to him or not.
I'm not saying it's not within his rights. I'm just telling
you don't find it curious, Nana.
I'm just telling you
that he rather
that
wanted.
all he wanted from the court was custodial sentence.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's wrong with it? That's what you should ask for.
That's what you should ask for.
Yeah, contempt is criminal. And for a criminal case, you can go to jail. So he's asking that the man should go to jail.
Contempt is quasi criminal.
Yes, it's up to.
You can just be fined.
It's not
you
safe.
can be fined.
Yes, you can be fined.
You can just be
You can be
fined.
fined. Okay. When you take a case to court, which is criminal or quasi-criminal, 3 outcomes. You can be freed.
Yeah.
You can be fined. You can be jailed.
Or both a fine and a jail term.
Or both.
Yeah.
So he's asking for one of the reliefs.
Yeah. So he could have asked for him to be fined.
But it's within his rights.
No, I'm saying you still don't get it.
No, okay, so what are you saying?
He's refusing to get it.
No, why? I don't get it. Why? You mean you should ask for a fine?
That of all the outcomes, the only one he preferred was a prison term.
But that's in his view. But it's up to the court.
Well, when I'm
to
in
decide.
prison, I can't do parliamentary oversight. I can't publish. So, yeah.
But this judgment is really
Damn
it goes to the substantive case.
Yeah.
I don't know how, because it's a high court.
Yeah, human rights court.
Yeah.
The substantive case is before a high court.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
because it's quite decisive.
Samuel, we don't have time to look at the.
My petition to the World Bank.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame we don't have time. But that's,
what is that?
Well, last week we discussed. He has raised some issues about some contracts.
Yes.
And then I read that he's petitioning the World Bank.
Yes.
What do you want the World Bank to do?
Yes, to launch investigations. You know, under the World Bank's anti-corruption guidelines, when you notice that a contract they are funding is vitiated by fraud or has, collusion, has
some wrongdoing,
unethical conduct, some wrongdoing, you can petition them. And in this case, I'm talking about the same Nigerian cabal, which has hijacked the communication space, of course, with the clear support and collusion of certain actors.
So have you received a response from the World Bank?
Yes, they've acknowledged receipt.
Okay.
They've acknowledged receipt. Because there are issues of conflict of interest, insider dealing. I mean,
which contract is?
So let's wait.
So there are 2 contracts. There's first a $48 million contract. That one is sponsored by or funded by China Exim and APSA. They were not supposed to do it. They are not supposed to be a contractor. If you look at the Parliament's commercial agreement of 31st March 2020, Huawei and CNTIC were supposed to be the contractors. How these Nigerians came in without PPA approval, and you have the GIFEC and NITE using that contract to then go to the World Bank to give credibility and track record to this company, Accent, which was hurriedly incorporated in 2019.
And there has been no response
to say that because they are executing this $48 million contract, they are qualified to do the $49.5 million contract that the World Bank is giving under the e-transform.
You have now
project.
roped in
another contract, which is a $49.5 million contract.
All right.
That's the e-transform contract.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm in the PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.